about this, and this is, how do we put it?
Oh, that's a dry tongue. What? Is that
What?
real?
What?
That looks like a green dry tongue.
I don't know, dude. He's mid-game. He's probably
It's
drinking hella.
pretty purple, dude.
All right. So John Hollinger went to the G League showcase, and this is what he had to talk about. This was something that everyone talked about was the G League Ignite. And something, if you guys don't know, unlike 28 of the other 29 teams, the Ignite are not affiliated with any NBA team. Mexico City Capitans is also unaffiliated. Portland and Phoenix are the only NBA teams without affiliated G League clubs. Instead, the Ignite are ran by the league and pay considerable salaries to several young players with the idea of developing them for the NBA. They pay like Scoot Henderson, I think it was like $1 million or $2 million, and then like the bottom roster guys $500,000. And then G League players make only $35,000. They like $80,000 a year. This year's roster has like Leonard Miller, Scoot Henderson, London Johnson, Mojave King, CD Sissoko, Babacar Singh, and Efe Abogidi. And this is the third year of the program. And so far, Dyson Daniels, Jaden Hardy, Marjon Beauchamp, Jalen Green, Daishen Nix, Isaiah Todd, and Jonathan Kuminga have made it to the NBA from this program. And from John Hollinger's talks to people around the league, both leading up to the event and at the G League showcase itself, he found a lot of people willing to question the league's approach. For starters, why is the league spending all this money to develop players who would just develop someplace else? What is the point of this exactly? There was some idea that keeping these players out of rival non-NCAA options like the Overtime Elite or the Australian National Basketball League Next Stars program, which RJ Hampton, Ousmane Deng, and LaMelo Ball played in, would help market them for the next level in the NBA. But if anyone's ever seen a G League game, it isn't exactly packed at all. Like, those houses aren't packed. And now, when they first made the G League, this was when the G League Ignite wasn't competing against NIL in college basketball. But over the last 2 years, NIL in college sports has become a major factor. So will any of these options even be competitive going forward? And from a marketing perspective, there hasn't been anything except for that one game where the G League Ignite were a opponent for Victor Wembanyama's Metropolitan 92 team when they visited in October, and they went 1-1, and it was really just a hype machine for Victor Wembanyama. Given the expense, and some have questioned the league's roster choices as well, paying up for Scoot Henderson was one thing, but most of the other players are barely fringe NBA prospects. One league source told John Hollinger that, why are we paying almost $500,000 for guys who are two-way players? And secondly, there's a deeper question. Is this program even good at developing players?
No.
Maybe you give them a mulligan for the first year in the middle of a pandemic, but Ignite were objectively a mess last season, and they're barely any better this year. And nobody that John Hollinger has talked to thinks this is a team that is coached well or well ran. And he's frequently offered this opinion before even getting around to asking. Meanwhile, Jaden Hardy looks so much better on the Dallas Mavericks G League team than he did on the Ignite. Scouts are almost at a point of putting an asterisk next to Ignite player stats, presuming they'll be almost better anywhere else. Many also question the fact that they aren't even playing for anything that matters. Literally, we talk about this all the time. The problem with the G League and why the G League will never take off is nobody plays to win. No one gives a crap to win in the G League. No one cares about team play. Everyone out there is playing for themselves, playing to showcase themselves, and playing to put up the best numbers so they can get called up to the league or get a big contract overseas. Okay? None of the games matter. The G League games don't matter. The G League Ignite games matter even less because they know they're just trying to get drafted. And the fact is that when you play in the NCAA, when you play overseas, when you play in the NBL, all those games matter because you're trying to win a championship in a foreign league. Now, the Ignite left the showcase with the worst record and the worst scoring margin in the entire G League after doing the same thing last year. And Scoot Henderson, yes, he only played 6 games in this showcase, and they won 3 of those games, but they're 1-11 without him. And they also lost 1 game in the 2-game split against Wembanyama's Metropolitans 92. And Canadian forward Leonard Miller, who was a fringe first-rounder, is a guy who has pushed himself into a guaranteed first-rounder. But the thing is that you have to wonder, like, obviously LaMelo Ball didn't have some personal growth in Australia, but because he spent the year screwing around, jacking up 40-foot threes. But we have to say, you'd think Scoot Henderson, Leonard Miller, and all these guys, if they went to the NBL, went to, and a Power 5 like Kansas, Kentucky, Duke, or even went over to Europe, it would be better than the G League. Instead, let's just say the program has reached a point where people are asking questions. Unlike the G League's other 29 franchises, this one has to continue providing to 30 NBA owners who are paying for it why it should keep existing. Right now, the sales pitch is failing. Thoughts?
Yeah. So I mean, the NIL ruined the G League. The Ignite. Any chance that Ignite had that never made sense to begin with, the NIL completely abolished it. So the Ignite team should be dismantled. Who are the good players out of the Ignite? I know it hasn't been long.
Leonard Miller's who have made it or who are currently?
Yeah, who are current good players?
Jonathan Kuminga, Jalen Green, and Dyson Daniels have arguably, and Marjan Beauchamp are the four best players.
And Jaden.
But like actually playing. Marjan Beauchamp, Jonathan Kuminga, Jalen Green, and Dyson Daniels are the only ones who have made an impact in the NBA so far in the G League Ignite. The rest, Isaiah Todd, Dacian Nix, Jaden Hardy, they've been like not two-way guys, but like just basically they're like on guaranteed contracts, but they've been called up and down from the G League.
Yeah, so there's clear talent. Scoot Henderson's a great player. It just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. And as far as like the G League goes, I mean, you're gonna have to there's going to have to be some type of incentives that work across the whole organization, just in general. Like those two teams you mentioned that don't have G League affiliates, they need to have G League affiliates. I don't understand why they don't, actually. If that's supposed to be the minor league system for the NBA, why don't they have teams? But the Ignite will never work. If Scoot Henderson, think Sharif O'Neal. Sharif O'Neal sucks right now. He sucks. This guy, like,
I forgot he was on.
Did he have a stint with the Lakers?
Yeah, why did they give Sharif O'Neal a?
Because they're desperate. And you know what? I'll tell you this. I don't know what Sharif was doing, because Sharif had a medical condition and he was forced to sit out for the season, or he was done for the season in his last year at UCLA, or however that went down. He should have gone back to college. I don't know what he's doing in the NIL now, in the Ignite. Now nobody knows what Sharif's doing. If he was at least still on UCLA, he'd get some eyeballs, because it's Shaq's kid and it's actually watchable. Scoot Henderson, I couldn't tell you any stat line Scoot Henderson has had in the entire season. I covered the Houston Rockets. I couldn't tell you a single stat line Jalen Green had in his stint with the Ignite. Like, nobody watches it. Nobody cares. And it's bad.
It's bad basketball.
It's just a mess, and it doesn't make any sense. And you could argue with the NIL not coming into effect, maybe, right? They're getting some money. All right, fine. I'm open to it.
Drew Timme, a guy who was basically early second round pick. He was going to go in the second round. He wasn't going to go in the first. Drew Timme of Gonzaga. He said the only reason he went back to Gonzaga for like that super senior season was, I think he got $3 million. And he was like, I was going to get more money playing an extra year of college basketball than I would as a second round pick. Yeah. Like, why would you not go to college basketball now when you're getting like 1 to 3 million, maybe even 5? I bet you Kansas, they're probably setting up my school at University of Kansas. We're probably setting up Jalen Wilson and like these new 5-star recruits we're talking to, Grady Dick and shit, with like $2-3 million deals. I bet you Duke, Kentucky doing the same thing, getting them big old deals. Like, literally, Michigan State is called the Michigan State Trojans, presented by Rocket Mortgage. That's their basketball team. The Michigan State Trojans, presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Yeah, I mean, so I think the whole NIL, that's a whole nother kind of thing. Just in general, I think it's going to ruin college sports as far as.
No, it won't. It's going to keep good players there.
It will. But I would
you're
say
going to have the good guys do and go overseas.
Hey, is that swaggy? That's good. You got a dog, but. So, okay, I think Drew Timme was a great point. Drew Timme is living at Gonzaga as a freaking superstar stud. Now he has scouts on him. He's getting well coached.
Oh, no,
he's getting laid every day.
Drew Timme's not going to be a first-round pick. Drew Timme's still a second-round pick.
But he's his
stock went down. His stock went down.
No one gives a shit about the guy on screen because he plays for the G League Ignite. People just know he's good.
Okay, you got me there, right. You're right. Yes, playing college basketball is better marketing than the G League Ignite. I bet you less people know about Victor Wembanyama than Who then? I'm trying to think. This is the most popular
And-
college. Who's the most popular college basketball player right now?
Any.
No,
But
like
Victor Wembanyama is a special type of talent, and they've done a great job marketing that. I think
you got 70K on a
college-
video
it's actually at 80. But yeah.
about what?
The 49ers. But I don't know. I think the Ignite's a sorry excuse at this point, especially with the NIL.
You chose Scoot over
Henderson.
Victor? You made a video saying
I don't know.
Scoot over Victor.
Maybe for the Rockets? Yeah, maybe for the Rockets. Oh, no, I think that was a clip we said on here. I'd rather have Scoot on the Rockets than Vic because I like LP. I think I said that yesterday, 2 days ago.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But
this guy could be, if Scoot was at Duke, he'd be a superstar stud. Random people would be tuning on ESPN to watch him. Everybody's winning. Everybody's making money. Like,
I'm trying to think who's the number one player in college basketball right now.
couldn't even tell you.
I couldn't even tell you. I go
Couldn't
to
even tell.
Kansas. Is it Jalen Wilson, Grady Dick?
Don't know either of those players.
They're fucking
I
dogs.
thought Jalen Wilson was your quarterback.
No, that was Jalen Daniels. We like them Jalens. Two different Jalens. One's with an E, one's with an O. You fucking asshole. But no, look, yes, Scoot Henderson. Oh my God, this guy would probably have 10 million followers on everything if he went to a Power 5 school. The thing is with this G League Ignite is it's not working. It's not marketing well, and the team is coached bad. The team is ran bad, and they don't do a good job. It's either they're not doing a good job at offering contracts to the right players, or the players that they want are all choosing to go to college instead of the G League Ignite because they're like, why?
Well, yeah. I think most athletes who are going to get a scholarship, like those good type of players, like would love to go to college as opposed to whatever the hell you do on the Ignite team. I guess you just enter adulthood. Why wouldn't I go slay some co-eds for a year and just be treated like a king and make some money and get the national attention and go back to the co-eds? There's co-eds. There's no co-eds on the Ignite team.
So let's switch over and let's